The Warriors Wiki told me this is a super important book which reveals the villainous Scourge is secretly the half-brother of Firestar. That is not true. Firestar isn't in the book. There's nothing like that here. The Wiki specifically cites page 3 as evidence. Here is page 3. Notice how it has absolutely nothing to do with Firestar.
Argofunk Book Review, Argofunk Book Review.
Tiny is a kitten with siblings named Socks and Ruby. Mom criticizes them for being too rough with Tiny. They complain he's too weak and no fun. Tiny is so cute, and his siblings are so mean, I almost feel bad for him. But then I remember he grows up to be a mass murderer. Mama warns the family about dangerous cats in the forest. They're a scourge. Mama also says their father had ginger fur. Maybe that's why people think Scourge is related to Firestar. Clearly, it's impossible for two different cats to have reddish fur unless they're father and son. When Tiny's siblings refuse to play fight with him, he goes into the forest to prove he's strong. He has a fun time, but his family doesn't believe him when he says what happened. Some humans come to buy the kittens. Ruby teases Tiny, saying no humans will ever like him. He's going to be thrown in the river. Scared, Tiny escapes into the forest. He's caught by a ThunderClan patrol, which includes a young Tigerstar and Bluestar. Tigerpaw viciously attacks Tiny. The other cats have to interfere to stop him from killing Tiny. So, Tigerstar was always a supervillain. Scourge started off as a cute little baby, but Tigerstar, always a villain. Tiny wanders into human territory. He finds a dog tooth on the ground and tries using it to rip off his pet collar. The tooth gets stuck in the collar. Now the other cats think he fights dogs, so they take him to fight a big dog in the neighborhood. Tiny gets super lucky. The dog sees his shadow and mistakenly thinks Tiny is a giant. The dog runs away in fear. The other cats are amazed, and Tiny renames himself Scourge. Scourge is now the neighborhood leader, but he doesn't get real respect until a few weeks later. A trio of rogue cats come to the area. They laugh at the idea that Scourge is the leader. Scourge murders one of them with a single blow. It's a pretty violent scene, and I have to wonder where Scourge learned to fight like that. It's a pretty big leap from a cat who scares dogs with shadows to a cat who commits cold-blooded murder. After that, Scourge is secure in his role as leader. Years later, his siblings return, begging him for help. They say they're blood relatives, which gives Scourge the idea to name his group BloodClan. He brags they bathe in the blood of their enemies. And yes, Scourge is very much evil now. We end with scenes from Warriors, The Darkest Hour. Tigerstar asks for Scourge's help in conquering the forest. It doesn't seem that Tigerstar remembers Scourge. Scourge gets his long-awaited revenge when he betrays and kills Tigerstar. The 80-page story is followed by 21 pages of advertisements for other Warriors books. That seems like an excessive amount of ads. The end. Post-book follow-up. I like this graphic novel. The art is better than the art for the Gray Stripes Adventure trilogy. The story's good. Scourge doesn't really get a backstory in the main series. All we know is that he's an evil cat. It certainly changes things to say Scourge killed Tigerstar in revenge for a long-forgotten incident. The book does a good job of making Scourge a sympathetic character. He is the sad victim of bullies, who stumbles upon a leadership role by accident. But then he flips a switch on page 68 and becomes pure evil, murdering a stranger for laughing at him. That's probably the biggest problem of the book. Scourge's transformation from underdog hero to ruthless murderer happens way too quickly. It's like the author realized, Oh crap, I only have 8 pages left before the scenes from the darkest hour. Scourge has to turn evil now. The cover art is deceptive. That's cute kitten Tiny, but he's wearing adult Scourge's collar. We never get told where the other teeth in his collar came from. This book was written in 2008. I'm purposely posting this review on March 12th, 2024. That's the day they're doing a color re-release of the graphic novel. Don't ask me why they waited 16 years to do this. Overall, I would recommend this to fans of The Darkest Hour. It's an interesting backstory for one of the major villains. It's so good, I wish it had been longer. I definitely would have preferred 20 more pages of story over 20 pages of ads. I give Warriors: The Rise of Scourge a 9 out of 10.